Good morning. All right, just making sure all my audio is working. Yes, it is. How are you guys doing? So, let me just drink something. Lots and lots of messages, lots and lots of, I guess you could say, signs being pushed through. So many different things that we're going through as individuals and, as a collective whole. And I think today's messages are going to be intense. I think since the eclipse, things have just been intense. Period. If we're really gonna be honest, things have been intense for so many. Period. We're just gonna leave it at that. Things are intense. Really quick, let us do a little bit of announcements. We do still have our raffle going on. It's $1 per entry, and if you win, your entry will get you a 2-hour meditative experience with me, a custom created soundtrack just for you and your frequency will also be created. You'll win that. And we'll have time to do all types of different readings, all types of different energy work, whatever it is your higher self asks me to do. That's exactly what we're going to do during that 2-hour meditative experience, okay? If you'd like to enter into the raffle, just go to soulworksynergistics.com/raffle. We also do have the Dear Emmy series still going on. This is going to be an ongoing series. You write in, this is not for a free reading. I just want to say that up front. This is not for a free reading. This is for you to receive some type of clarity on something that you're going through. No cards will be involved. This will strictly be me sharing my thoughts, my opinions, my own clarity that I'm getting from your writing, okay? So you just go to soulworksynergistics.com/dear-emmy, and you have the option of remaining anonymous, or you can give me permission to say your name, and I'll be answering that question on a live stream, okay? With the Dear Emmy series, what I want to accomplish with this is I want to be able to show us that, like all of us, that we all pretty much go through the same type of lessons, same type of struggles, and you're not alone in that. You're not alone in what you're going through. And maybe you don't have the courage yet to ask the question that you want to ask. And when someone else asks the same question that you didn't have the courage to ask yet, it kind of helps you to get your clarity while you still work through some of that discomfort of asking for your needs to be met, right? We also do, I do private sessions. If you would like a private reading, if you would like private energetic work done, you just go to soulworksynergistics.com/Emmy-services, and you can book a private session with me. I often hear for my private sessions that it's life-altering. So, and that's a huge compliment to me when people tell me how the session has affected them and has altered the course of their experiences in life. We do also invite you to consider helping us build the physical sanctuary campus. We're running a program for that, soulworksynergistics.com/sanctuary, and that will give you all the information you need to help us with building the actual sanctuary itself. All right. And then last of all, I want to just share this. We have tons of different projects and whatnot going on at any given time. Like, for example, in a couple weeks, very, very soon, it's fast approaching, I'm going to be doing an insanely intense workshop. It's the Morphogenetic Fundamentals workshop. And with this workshop, I'll be teaching how to work your energy. These are the basics, so the fundamentals of my system, the Kokoro 33 system. This is not a system I was taught. This is a system I did not create. This is a system I was born knowing. So I did one day think it'd be cool if I had my own energy system. No. I literally just know how. That's it. I just know how. And so I teach classes, weekly classes. This workshop is your opportunity to have a very condensed workshop experience. It's condensed, but it's 4.5 hours. So it's a very intensive workshop. And I'm going to be teaching you the fundamentals, the basics of everything. Within the first 2 hours, you're going to be able to reach frequencies that are much higher than this level of Reiki master. And yeah, I might sound cocky when I say that, but it's the truth. You're going to be able to reach higher levels of frequency within the first 2 hours of me teaching you my program than you could ever reach with any Reiki program, teaching, whatever it is. Okay, so that's definitely something that you want to miss out on. In case you guys don't know, I typically do workshops only once. Whatever the subject is, I typically don't repeat it again. I'm kind of just like, oh no, I already did it. That's just, I don't know why I do that, but I tend to not repeat workshops. If you want to know more about that workshop, you can go to soulworksynergistics.com/projects and get to know more about it. So to access all things Emmy, simply go to soulworksynergistics.com and you can poke around. You can see my team. Yes, I have an actual team and they are amazing, 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 amazing. So let's start, guys. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and what I was told is risks must be taken. There's no reward in safety. So there's something that someone is wanting to accomplish. I don't know. But the feeling is they don't want to take any risks. And I feel like if you don't want to take the risk, then you don't really want the reward. You don't really want to achieve whatever it is you're not wanting to risk. It's not going to happen for you. It's just not. If you're not willing to take a risk, your life is going to continue to go the way it's gone as you've lived in your comfort zone. And that is just the reality of how that works. Okay? Your life doesn't suddenly change without the appropriate action for it to change. It just doesn't. And when we begin to give ourselves permission to do whatever it is that needs to be done, yes, oftentimes when the reward is so great, the risk sometimes is just as intense as the greatness of the reward. And when you allow yourself to take a chance on you, amazing things could happen. Like seriously, amazing things can happen. And it's up to you though. It's very much your choice. And if you want to make a choice to not do what you know you need to do because you're afraid, because you don't think you can, because programs from childhood are telling you you're not worth it, because, then I don't know. I don't know. And people might be like, oh my gosh, I mean, you're not encouraging me. I can't override your programs. You would have to do that. And if you were to tell me, well, no, so many people say that you've helped them and their life has changed because they took that risk. That's why. And that's why I don't like to take credit for people who have experienced like positive things. You know, they've changed their life. Like something no. They're facing the wrong way. No. Oh my gosh. Oh my hot diggity dang it. You guys, why am I like this? Okay, hold on. Okay, we're gonna have to figure this out. So for some people, their lives have changed because something I said triggered their courage to change their life. Not because I changed it for them, not because it was easy, but because they finally made the decision to take that risk and invest in themselves. I think for many of us, we choose not to invest in ourselves because it's too risky, right? Because we can't hide failure from ourselves. But are you really failing, or are you simply in the process of learning? Learning and growing and becoming, unfolding, ripening. So many different excuses we tell ourselves. So many. Oh, wait. Hold on. What is my schedule today? I better hurry up. I better hurry up. Hurry up. Okay. Two. Here goes. Stability. We're afraid of our lack of a stability. We're afraid of the ways in which we're failing, or I really dislike the word failure. It's something that has been, I don't know if I should say painful in my life. It's something that's been held over my head for so long, and I'm kind of just like, I'm over it. I'm over the entire concept of failing, because I promise you, every single time that I've failed in someone else's eyes, I've actually been being held by the hand, by my own soul, and guided to where I need to be. Okay? For example, I was groomed as a child to become a medical professional. At the very least, a registered nurse, preferably a neurosurgeon. This is what I was groomed to become. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a neurosurgeon. I'm not anything that's a licensed medical professional. In my environment's eyes, that's a failure. I failed to become what they told me to be. That's not what I'm supposed to be. That's not what I'm supposed to be. I don't care whose opinion it is. That I would have made a fabulous doctor. Oh my gosh, you would have been an amazing doctor. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. Because I would have lost my license in the first month. Because I refused to do what insurance companies would tell me to do, and I would do what my patient needed me to do. So I can't be in that industry. I won't play by their rules. So did I fail there? No, I was redirected. Yes, everything that happened in my childhood has led me to where I am right now. And where am I right now? Sitting at home, existing as the medical intuitive that I am. Yes, I'm still highly inclined, highly able to comprehend a lot of complex medical things. Absolutely, yes, I can. I can understand quite a bit. You give me a few minutes, I'll look up the word. I'll look up the word, and I'll be able to understand exactly what it is you're proposing for treatment, what the condition is, the different ramifications of different options of treatment that can be selected. I don't need a license to exist the way I am. I don't. I don't need permission from some governing body to exist as I was designed to exist. So in no way have I failed. In no way did I fail myself. In no way did I fail my life. I am not a failure. But I existed for so long thinking and feeling that I failed because I didn't live up to other people's expectations. These pre-planned expectations of who I'm supposed to be. Was it because they thought that I would be good at medical things? No. It was because in my culture, the daughter is the one who's going to take care of the parents when they're ready to retire. You're basically their retirement benefits. And I know my culture is not the only culture that does that, where it would be my job. So they need to ensure that I select a career where I can afford whatever it is they want to be spending on when I take over their care. A lot of people who have these expectations of you have an expectation of you because of the benefit that they will have when you do what they expect you to do. Let that sink in. Really let that sink in. Allow yourself to begin understanding other people's expectations of you are to further along whatever other expectations you're hoping you'll be able to fulfill. Yeah. Up until a certain point, which is not that long ago, I used to go out of my way to fulfill everyone's expectations of me. And then I realized their expectations were not expectations, they were exploitations. Ooh, let that sink in. Are you failing someone's expectations, or are you failing to allow them to exploit you? Really let that sink in. Your stability returns when you stop giving your footing away. Okay? When you stop giving your stability away to the people who are not interested in being stable themselves, you will have your stability once again. Your stability is not contingent on other people's expectations, approval, permission, or any of that. Your stability is contingent on your willingness to do what you need to fulfill your own needs. Okay? You are responsible for yourself. You are responsible for yourself. Years ago, when I first switched over to Facebook or to YouTube from Facebook, I had someone who just like totally tried to scold me in the comments of one of my videos. And they're like, "You're so irresponsible," and I forget what they said because it really didn't matter too much to me. But it was something along the lines of, I was being ridiculously irresponsible because I need to be delicate with your hearts, and I need to learn how to properly communicate in a gentle way instead of just being so crass and just being so blunt and rude and hurtful. Shut the fuck up. Seriously. Like, just shut the fuck up. For real. For real. For real. Because really, I went onto their channel and I was just like, you have like 2-digit views on all your videos. Who are you to give advice on something you can't even accomplish for yourself? And it's always the people who can't accomplish something that will attack you and try and convince you their way is the best way. Really, show me, prove to me by showing me what you accomplished doing that. And it's not that I'm using some sort of tactic to entrance you. No, I'm just being me. You're either going to vibe with it or you're not. I completely understand. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I completely understand that not a lot of people are willing or able to hear truth. I'm just not going to coddle toxic emotions, toxic logic. I'm not here to intentionally hurt someone's feelings. No. maybe Michael's feelings. He doesn't have feelings. They don't feel like humans do. Sorry. And that's the thing. Most people will have these expectations of you because of their own insecurities. If they can dominate you, it will help to give them a sense of stabilization. But are they stable? Probably not, because stable people aren't in other people's business. And saying, stable people aren't busy telling other people what to do. Am I telling you what to do, or am I simply sharing my opinions and you're free to resonate or not resonate? It's perfectly okay. See what I'm saying? Intention in reverse. Whoever you're listening to, their intention is upside down. You are listening to someone who has no idea what you actually need, how much you've actually hurt. Oh. Mm. It is this sense of like, I'm just, how would I word this? It's kind of this sense that someone, I don't think it's you, someone has just been absolutely eviscerated. They've been gutted for years over the thought of you. And they haven't told anyone. They haven't told anyone. So when you don't tell even the people you trust the most, the ways in which you've suffered, the ways in which you've struggled for years on end, the way you've broken over and over and over for years on end. Even the people who love you, even the people who support you and your growth and whatever other amazing things you can think of, they're not going to know how to properly support you in this period. And it's this thing of someone has been experiencing this over the thoughts of you. And that's like a consistent reading. It's a consistent message. This heartache and heartbreak because they need you, they want you, and you know, all of that, like, but as the title of this video says, risks must be taken. There's no reward in safety. Why stay in a space of safety if that's where you're the most miserable? Because you're afraid of being rejected? Like the potentiality of being rejected? Honey, until you say and do something, until you take that risk, you feel rejection day in and day out. How many more years? How many more years will you punish yourself? How many more? I'd say the problem isn't the rejection. I'd say the problem is your fear of exiting that comfort zone of misery. Like, stop. Stop punishing yourself. Stop forcing yourself to hurt. You know, I almost wonder, Do you do this, for whoever this is, do you do this because you want to punish yourself for walking away in the first place? We got a little bit of masochism there. You a masochist? Hurts so good? I mean, there's other ways to punish yourself. You can totally use a paddle, use a wooden spoon. You can thwack yourself with a spoon, you know, rather than this type of punishment. Because this type of punishment, it's just like, yeah. Mm. Ooh. Hey, Kim. I love this. Kim says, I love this. As my mom said, chickens can't raise eagles. Eagles make nests also purposely uncomfortable so babies want to fly. Love it. Have y'all ever seen an eagle's nest? That does not look soft and fluffy. It doesn't. It doesn't look soft and fluffy at all. They're huge and they look like a mess of brambles. That's what they look like. Here's the thing. If you're an eagle, you can't change that. You can't change that. You can't change what you are. How often do you see multiple eagles flying together? In nature, without human intervention. Now, there's times where you'll see a lot of eagles gathering during a specific time of year when the salmon are, you know, going to their breeding grounds and all of, you know, yeah, maybe once in a while. But they're pretty much solitary creatures. They fly higher than most other birds. That's why they're solitary. In my humble opinion, that's why. How are you going to expect a chicken to soar with you that high? They can barely get off the ground. And I think that that's part of the problem is that if you're going to make it your life goal to be just another chicken head, I'm just saying, then what's going to happen? Not a damn thing. Nothing's going to happen for you. Whether it's in romance, whether it's in business, whether it's in whatever it is, gosh, nothing's going to happen. Everything that I've accomplished for myself required a massive risk to be taken. And every single time I've taken that risk, I've felt the wind lift me up higher. You know, eagles don't flap their wings too much, they soar. They're gliders. Chickens don't really glide unless they're falling. They don't glide. Nor do they fly much. It's like short bursts. Short bursts. Yep. Do you want to be a chicken when you were born to be an eagle? I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, maybe I should stop saying. Okay, so here's the thing, okay? Homecoming. Something is coming back around. Something is coming back around, and this is something that's been taking a long time, and it's okay. It's taking as long as it needs to take. Healer. They're coming home for healing. I think for some of us, we exist as a sanctuary for others. For some of us, we are this grounding force. We are the very thing that helps people get through to the next day. And I'm not talking about the need for you to martyr yourself. I'm not talking about an obligatory existence. I'm talking about being honest with yourself, with who you are. I'm not an adventurer. Me, myself, I'm not where you go when you want an adventure and wildness and all of these other things. No. I exist as a home for so many. You tired? You feel lost? You feel like you can't walk anymore? You come home to me. I get you patched back up. We top you off. Fill you up with love all the way until it overflows. And then you go and have your adventures without me. And it's okay. I like to be home. Meaning, I like to sit at home and I like to be your home. That's who I am. I can't pretend to be something I'm not. I can't. I just can't. I don't want to be. I don't want to pretend to be this or that or play a role. I'm only interested in being what I am. A home for you. And when you allow me, also your healer. That's all I'm interested in at this point in my life. That is what I am, and that's all I'm interested in. There's nothing that's missing. Nothing. I have this very deeply held belief that people can wander as far as they want. But when our souls have promised to have experiences together, you will come back. I don't have to wait. I don't have to pause my life. I don't have to pine away or any of that. When it's time, or whatever it is we agreed upon, our paths will cross. We'll find ourselves right back at center. There is this friend that I have. I haven't spoken to her in years. Years. Always very, very lovely conversations, deep conversations, lovely ones. I liked her so much that I had given her my phone number years ago. It's been years. My phone number has changed so many times, just so many times over the years. And we haven't reached out at all to each other in years. And then I saw her post something. And I commented, I shared it the other day, where it was like, I saw her post about weeds in her garden. I was like, oh my God, I'll buy that off you. I'll buy it off you. And then we chatted for a little bit the other day on Messenger, and it was lovely. It was lovely. It was time for both of us to come home to center, where the two of us could sit for a while. And I was telling her, like, I still remember a conversation we had. I remember sitting in the grass. I remember exactly where I was and what we were talking about. You were outdoors too. I remember that. It's been years. That was like, I want to say 2016, 2017 time. It's been years. I still remember that. I still hold it close to my heart. It's okay for you to move on with your life. As I said, when it's time for you to interact with someone again, if that's what's planned by both of your souls, you won't be able to stop that. The paths will cross, and you'll find each other facing each other once again. What you do then, that's up to you. That is up to you. If you want to repeat these cycles over and over and over again, you're free to. Absolutely, you're free to. Allow yourself to become grounded in your life, where you take a moment rather than rushing. And really, what is rushing? Avoidance. It's a form of avoidance. Rushing through life, never allowing your roots to take hold. I remember my girlfriend when I was at the height of my transience. I was just bumbling along. And she was out in Colorado. And whenever we'd be in town, she would make it a point to try and get me to come over to her place and kind of just hang out and, let our kids play and whatnot. And I remember she used to always say that she would make it a point to set an intention to see me grow roots somewhere, to see me grow roots, like stay in one place for some length of time and really just allow myself to rest. And I look back and it's like I was growing roots the whole time, but I was just in a pot. So it's not like I was missing out on growth. But after a certain period, because I needed to experience that period of my life, I wasn't running away from life, I was experiencing it. After a certain period, the roots become root bound in that pot. It can only go so far. There's that confinement that the pot creates. And that's where I reached. I reached that point where I was confined in my own created existence. And although from the outside it looked very free, I needed to actually plant myself in the ground, to really ground myself in the life that I've created for myself, a life that my family and I have created for ourselves. You have to be able to take a look at yourself and be honest. Are you running away from your life? Now, a lot of people think they are so happy in their lives, right? And they have that 6-figure, 7-figure salary. They have the Tesla, right? They have the gorgeous home. They have all of these different high-end items. They have the wardrobe. They have the shoes, accessories, all the accoutrements, everything. They have it all, and they're like, life is perfect. Yeah? Perfect. It's perfect because you can take that vacation once a year where you have to wait all year so that you can take a 1-week long break from your life. I'd say that's a fucking lie. Ask me when was the last time I took a vacation. Not since my husband was working for large tech companies. Some might say, well, I mean, you can't compare yourself to other people just because you couldn't take a vacation. I mean, maybe you couldn't afford it. Or maybe I don't need a break from my life because I actually love my life. Mm-hmm. It's not because I can't afford to take a vacation. I mean, yeah, you can take a vacation for $50. You can do a staycation. You can camp. You can go out into the wilderness. That's completely free. Just bring your gear with you. That's a vacation too. My entire life is a vacation from the matrix, from the program, from the control, the shame, the obligatory existence. My whole life is a fucking vacation. Me live streaming every morning, that's not work. That's me holding space with my online family. Me having sessions with clients, those are private conversations with soul family. What do I need a vacation from? At least once a day. And I work about 16 hours a day, sometimes 18. I don't sleep much. At least once a day, every day that I work, which is 7 days a week, I'm like, we have the best freaking people in our lives. We have amazing clients. You're not my team, though. That's my husband. And my husband, I mean, Geminis, you know, they have the capacity to talk shit. They really, truly do. I mean, they excel at that. He has no problem being like, no, you're lying. You know, he has no problem saying that kind of stuff. I say we have the most amazing clients. We have the most amazing community. He's like, we do. We're like really lucky. We do. Yeah. He was aware of how supported and loved we are before I was. I still didn't want to believe it. And he was like, no, no, you're like, no. You know, I don't need a vacation from life. I don't need a vacation from life. It's not because I'm a workaholic. It's because I don't see this as work. Why live a life that you need to take a break from? Why? Well, I mean, that's because, you know, you blah, 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 blah. And, you know, there's always excuses that can be thought of, right? Like, well, it's because you know, you get along with your family. You guys are so chill with each other and you guys love each other and you're not in a toxic environment and blah, blah, blah. Okay, I have toxic relatives. Not all of them. There's one in particular that is so extremely toxic, like radioactive toxic. And they like to involve everyone. Whenever they get the opportunity to have some kind of drama, it's like, yes, let's make it a family affair. And I'm like, sorry, I'm busy that day. I'm busy that week. I'm busy this entire lifetime. Fuck off. Yep. I don't need a break from my life because I don't allow bullshit like that into my life. And this is not like a cousin, auntie, second cousin, third cousin. No, immediate relative. Immediate relative. Once I identify you as consistently the source of drama, I don't give a shit what your title in my life is. Sit your ass down. You're in the way. And that's that. That's that. And these are the people who will convince other people to gang up on you about how you're the issue because you don't want family harmony. You're incapable, so I have to be realistic, right? I have to be realistic about people's capacity. Not everyone has the capability to actually understand and apply what family harmony is. And some people don't give a fuck. That's not my problem to solve. It's just not. That's my problem to avoid. Some things need to be avoided. Most other things don't. Do you see how backward society is? The things you shouldn't avoid are the things you're encouraged to avoid. And the things that you should avoid are the things like, oh my God, Emmy, what are you talking about? Why are you telling people this? Because it's the fucking truth and you can't shut me up anymore. I said what I said. I said what I said. Yeah. I said what I said. Yeah. Society is structured in such a way that causes you to feel so much shame if you don't live in the way society tells you to live. In what way is that? Whatever way that crushes you in your spirit, that's the way. I'm so thankful. I used to be ashamed, right? I used to be so ashamed. But now I'm so thankful that my soul is just one badass motherfucker, I swear to God. My soul is totally like, off with their heads. And I'm like, no, we can't do that now. Maybe once upon a time, but not in this life. We can't do that again. No. Society doesn't function like that anymore. You know, we can't just be like, this is my royal seal, off with their heads. No, 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 no. Society doesn't function like that. Okay. So we can't do that anymore. And, you know, I don't need society to function like that. I just need to be the one that rolls. You know, when you sever the head, it kind of falls on the floor and then it rolls, right? You know, heads will roll. That's where that saying comes from. Yeah, no, I'm the only thing that's going to roll right out of your life, right out of your life. And at one point in my life, it was like, I do that to punish you. Now it's like, I don't care if you're punished or not. I'm just going to live my best life without you there. I don't care to punish you. See, in order for me to want to punish you, you would need to mean a lot to me. And you don't. You just don't. You just don't. For the people that I walk away from, I walk away because I cease caring. You know what I mean? I don't even care enough to wish harm to you. I'm just like, whatever. You know what? You're just a shitty person and you make shitty decisions. And just knowing that, it's like, you can have a shitty life. I don't even really care. I don't even need to witness it. I'm just like, I don't fucking care. The one person that I dislike the most in this life. I was telling my husband the other day. I totally was like, I wish they live a long life. And he's like, I don't. I was like, I do. I do. I wish for them to live such a long life. To be that miserable and that paranoid, you think everyone's after your money. Money that you stole, by the way. Yeah, money that you got from defrauding someone else. You think everyone's after your money, and then you look at everyone else, what they've accomplished, what they have, down to people who are like a fraction of your age, and you're like, oh, I should have that. Could you imagine living a life like that, a long life like that? I'm just like, I don't even fucking care. I don't care. I just hope you live a long life in your misery. They'll forever be alone. They'll forever be alone. They won't have what everyone else has. They'll never be in a relationship, not even long term, not even to someone who, you know, like a gold digger. Like, no, they won't have that. Everything will fail and falter around them, not because I will it to be, but because that's what they create for themselves. I wish them a long life of that, a long life of the truth that they are. That's what they are. Misery made into flesh. May they have a long misery. May they have a very long misery. And while they're miserable, I'll keep being me. I'm a pretty happy person most of the time. No matter what's happening, I'm pretty happy most of the time. We went to this state park yesterday, I think it was, and you know, we had the kids with us, and we brought all our bicycles and stuff, and my husband pointed out, like, wow, this was one of the places where we were going to stay, and they didn't have any openings for RVs, so we ended up not staying here, and this and that. And you know, my kids were like, that was so fun. And I was telling them, like, the best part about this, about the way our family is like, no matter what's happening, we have the ability to receive it in the most beautiful, most peaceful, most adventure-filled, love-filled way. One of the happiest periods for my family was when we were homeless. And it's not that we hid that from our kids, they knew. But we all agree individually, separately from each other. We look at that period, we didn't condition our kids to believe that it was an adventure. We didn't lie to them. They knew. They knew exactly what was going on. And we all, from the oldest to the youngest, still look back at that period. And not only were we not ashamed, we celebrate that. It was like, it was amazing. It was amazing. Just amazing. And to this day, like, you know, and I love it too. I love it. I hope my oldest doesn't mind me sharing this. He had, I guess, told his dad that his plan, he has no plans of moving out until he's at least 25. I'm like, fuck yes. Yes. We like each other. We literally like each other. No matter how big or small the place we occupy, we all pretty much choose to be all piled up in one room together. And anyone who's witnessed my family in real life, that's what you see. We're constantly in the same space together. We choose to be. If I go outside to go water plants or whatever, kids want to come with me. No biggie. They can go outside anytime. But they want to go where we go. I mean, that's amazing. That's amazing. You know, and it's not like my son doesn't have the capacity to move out, to live on his own. He's successful in his own right. Friends want him to move in. They're successful too. And he's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good. I like my parents. I mean, why do we need a break from life? Like literally every day, from my oldest to my youngest, every day they request hugs throughout the day. Just for hugs, not because they're insecure. Just for hugs. There's times where I've been working for several hours and I finally get out of the office and they're like, Mommy, it's time for hugs. Okay. We didn't teach them that. We didn't teach them that. Because they're actually truly living. They're grounded in the reality that we've created together as a family. We created this together as a family. What have you allowed society to teach you to create for yourself? Separation? Solitude? That's not a bad thing. Loneliness? That has a more negative thing to it, right? So society tells us that your life is not impressive unless you have big ass flat screens in every room, right? We only have one TV hooked up. We don't even have cable TV. And I've asked my kids, do you guys want us to buy you TVs for your rooms? They're like, no. Love it. Love it. Yeah. They don't want TVs in their rooms. Why? Jake is alone. And as they go through their stages of growth, like, and I've seen this because of the ages of my kids, you know, when they become a teen, they go through that year or two where they kind of just, they want to have their time alone. And, you know, They want their own space, and that's fine. That's fine. It's no biggie. There's no codependency here. None. It's autonomy. We're teaching autonomy, where you are welcome to come join us when you are willing. And if you need time alone, you're not being punished by being alone. You're not being shamed into being with us either. Just, what do you need? That even involves bedtime, like self-regulation. How many of us learned how to self-regulate? Like, so I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not any of that, okay? I think it is bullshit to teach young people to hit things to process their anger. You're still telling them it's okay for you to lose control, just not on a human being, right? And what if one day they lose control and they forget that they shouldn't be hitting someone's face? No, that's not okay. That's not okay. So there's this thing that goes around for younger people. My kids are all into gaming. And, they have friends and they see videos of like people who rage quit, like you lost, you died, you're going to break your mouse. And the one time I saw my kid like this, I was like, hey, listen, I'm not buying another one. I don't give a damn what other kids are doing. You show me respect by not breaking the things that I have to work to earn enough to pay for. I don't think so. We're not doing that shit here. No, no. If you're getting so mad that you are wanting to do that to your belongings, you need to turn that fucking game off. Yep. Yep. One of my kids, I mean, he's really good. Like, they didn't play video games until my oldest, I think the first time he played video games. God, I'm so strict with my oldest for so long. I think the first time he played video games, he was around like 14, maybe 13, 14 years old. And at the time, one of my youngest, I think he was like 2 or 3 or something like that. And they let him play a video game and he was beating literally everyone. He was making grown people rage quit. So he's really good at what he does. And a couple of weeks ago, he was playing and I guess his team, he was like, my team sucks. I was like, hey. And then I heard him, he was talking to someone and he was like, you're an idiot. And I was like, all right, turn it off. It's like, but it's true, Mom. I don't care if it's true or not. I don't care if it's true or not. If you cannot regulate yourself when you play the game, you need to turn it off. Do yourself a favor and remind yourself what's important. If you cannot self-regulate, you need to remove yourself from that environment. How many of us were taught this? Or were you taught to remain in the same environment that's causing you to lose control of yourself and your autonomy? And then you're the bad one because you've lost control? No. Remove yourself from the environment before you behave in a way that does not honor who you are. That includes friendships, relationships, work partnerships, whatever the environment is. If you are exerting so much influence on me and my character that I'm no longer going to honor who I am, what I stand for, I need to be up out of that environment. Not because I'm afraid of you, but because I know I deserve to exist with dignity. And if I'm going to behave in a way that takes my dignity from myself, fuck that shit. I'm out. I'm out. I'm not going to play that with you. There's not going to be like, I can be the bigger asshole. I know I can be the bigger asshole. That's why I need to be out. Hello? And you guys would know this if you knew who my father is. I'm just saying, I will always out asshole everyone. I was raised to excel. That includes being the biggest asshole in the room. And if I can't exist with dignity, no. I just need to be out. I need to go. I need to leave. That's not me running away. That's me making a conscious decision. You will not affect my autonomy. You will not destabilize me in a way that I do not allow you to destabilize me in. No. No. This is part of my self-regulation. This is part of me regulating myself. And I had to teach myself this. I was not taught this. I was taught to use my fists. One of the things my father used to always say this when I was a child, young adult. He used to say something along the lines of, strike first, ask questions later. The logic, we can always hire a lawyer to clean things up. What is your fucking dysfunction, yo? You want me to fucking fist fight someone first instead of asking, I'm sorry, are you talking to me? No, I'm good. I'm so good off that shit. I'm so good off that shit. No. So you cannot sit there and be like, well, it's easy for you to say, Emmy, I wasn't raised that way. Well, guess what? Neither was I. Neither was I. I wasn't raised in a peaceful, quiet environment, and that's why I learned this. Every decision I've made, and I said this in the private ministry area, my entire existence is in pure rebellion to my father. My entire existence. I'm just walking rebellion. You want me to be Stepford? No. I'm going to be real public about being so divergent. It would make you ashamed for people to know, your friends, your bougie ass friends, if they knew that your daughter, the one that you tried to like peddle as like princess, right? She was homeless. I'll talk about it in live streams. No shame. Like, I know it was a while. I was stuck for a while. I was stuck until I realized I was a solution for the very problem that I thought I had. And it wasn't even a problem, it was just a process. A process I needed to go through to find myself and lose my fear. Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful life when you let it be. When you allow life to show you the very things that you need to fix, meaning other people's perceptions, other people's blah, 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 other people's expectations, other people's fears that they project onto you, it can be very beautiful. Very, very beautiful. I knew you would come out. All right, so foundation is in reverse. That means life got turned upside down at some point. But for whoever this is, you're being guided to a place of fulfillment. It's up to you. Will you allow yourself to be fulfilled? Will you? Will you allow yourself to enter into a place of fulfillment where the very thing you want and need is the very thing your life is handing to you? That's up to you. It's time for you to remember what the ancestors are teaching you. And if I'm going to be really honest, and I was having a conversation with my son last night, and he told me one of his friends, like, every girl now is talking about their ancestors are guiding them. Everyone wants to identify as a Ruhai, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, it's kind of true. I'm not talking about some made-up ancestors that you never even really connected with. I'm talking about the ancestors that are still alive. The ones who you know, who were part of your upbringing, or whose absence formed you into who you are. You know, for some of us, we grew up without a parent, or we grew up without both our parents. I don't want to diminish how you feel about that, but I would love to share my thoughts so that hopefully you can find a center point. We always want the thing that we don't have, right? Like when my hair is more straight, because my hormones will change the texture of my hair, I want my hair to be wavy. When my hair is a loose wave like this, I want it to somehow return back to the tight curl that I had for a period. You know, my hair fluctuates. And it's like I always want what I don't have. And I remember thinking to myself one time, I was talking to someone and they were talking about how one of their parents was absent during their childhood. And I've come across so many people who have had at least one parent absent during their childhood and even adulthood, a parent who is still alive, okay? And it's just this thing of like, you know, there's a huge part of me that sometimes wishes my father had given me the gift of his absence growing up. Let that sink in. You have no idea what you were spared, what type of suffering you were spared because of the absence of that parent. You have no idea. How about instead of being angry about what you didn't have, try and wrap your mind around the possibilities of why you weren't meant to have that. What was cultivated within you? What was it? What parts of you grew because of that absence? What parts of you grew because of the presence of something toxic? I know for me, you know, everything in my life happened the way it needed to happen, down to all of the things I experienced as a child. I wouldn't be as empathic as I am today if I didn't live in such a war zone. Empathy is not some magical skill. It's a survival tactic. You learn to read the room. You learn to read people's emotions. And I lived in such a war zone, I learned to read minds. I can hear when people think. I know what the change in breathing means. The price paid to be who I'm destined to be. That's a very steep price. Very steep price for a very steep climb. You don't just end up at the top when you train to climb rolling hills. A rolling hill doesn't even really have a top, it just kind of rolls. It has no actual pinnacle, apex. Like Michael's having this conversation with me and it's like, I could have turned very dark. Considering my history, the things that I've experienced in life, I should have turned very dark. And it was this choice that was made. When you reach the pinnacle of understanding, when you reach the apex, do you want to sit there as a Bodhisattva, concerned about all the people who haven't reached that place yet? Or do you want to exist as an apex predator, consuming everything, everyone, that gets in your way just so you can remain at the top. That's a fucking lonely existence. That's lonely. So at some point in my life, assuming when I was still very young, rather than becoming an apex predator, I made a choice to be a living Bodhisattva. The only type of goddess I'll identify as. If you don't know what that is, you might want to look it up. We're all working so hard to reach the top, to climb as high as we possibly can. What are you going to do when you're at the top? What's your goal? What's your plan once you're there? How will you stay there? Because it's going to be very fear-filled if you choose to allow yourself to be pushed off the top and fall all the way back down. Especially if you work so hard to climb up there, right? And I found the answer was not to become an apex predator. Predators in the wild, they don't live very long. They just don't. They live a life of violence. See, people think like, oh, animals, peace. No. They eat each other. They attack each other. Even within their own species, they attack each other. Sometimes the mothers eat the children. The world itself is violent. Your birth, your entry into this world requires blood. It's messy and it's violent. People say birth is beautiful. It is. But in the most basic explanation, birth is when the newborn is evicted from its first home. It's evicted. It has no choice. It's forced out. I mean, the world we live in is brutal, but that doesn't take away the beauty and divinity of it. This is the only density we can experience these types of experiences in. Does that mean I embrace violence? No. It means I accept that it is a part of this existence. So many different shades, variations, levels, depths, layers, all of these different adjectives that you can use. It's all of that. It doesn't make it evil. But when you begin to not know exactly what it is you're here for, you begin to incubate yourself, protect yourself, hide yourself away. And that's not what you need. That's not what you promised other souls. That's not what you promise. I promise you. You promise to allow yourself to be witness at specific points in your life, in your journey. And there are all these souls who are waiting for you to show up. They're waiting. They're waiting for you to show up in your life. Can you do that? Can you choose to do that? The time for incubation is done. Incubation in reverse. It's time to get out of your shell. Masculine and cleansing. Cleansing that toxic patriarchy, the last vestiges of it. Cleansing it away. I'm not saying males are the problem, because women can be just as toxic. I'm saying it's time to cleanse away all of the really distorted teachings. Generations have taught generations, have taught generations, have taught generations. Change will only come when you take that risk of no longer complying. Do you even know what you're complying to or complying with? All right. So unconditional love in reverse. Whatever this is a fear of not being enough, of someone letting you know that you're not enough, of being rejected, abandoned, all of these different things. What I've learned for myself over the years is that my environment will always be a projection of where I am within my self-love journey, where I am within my self-discovery adventure. So, where are you? What's your environment telling you? Because my environment is you guys. And the way you regard me, the way you treat me tells me I'm at a place where I'm making some major progress with me loving myself. See, you can be an amazing environment, but if you won't allow yourself to receive the love that the environment gives to you, you don't actually love yourself. You're intellectualizing a non-intellectual process. And I've done that in the past. I speak from experience, where you have a level of intelligence where you can rationalize, I need to do X, Y, and Z because that's what you do at this point. And if I do this, then that means I've made progress. And then people will be like, I don't understand. I mean, I've done all the work. Okay. What work have you done? Well, I meditate, I eat right. I don't watch the news anymore. And, I do all the work. And I'm like, okay, well, have you processed your emotions? But that's not part of the work. Like, I don't have a problem with my emotions. How do you know that? Because you can intellectually prepare for a life change. Emotionally, you'll see exactly where you are with your emotional maturity and emotional intelligence when it's facing you at that point. When that life event is facing you, you'll see exactly where you are. For most of us, the reason we block specific types of beneficial events and experiences is because we have emotional block. Like, so much emotional blockage that prevents us from allowing it in. There was someone last night, I was talking to her during the expedites, and this is exactly what I was talking about, where intellectually, extremely intelligent, and she can intellectually rationalize, be very logical about that and healthy about that, right? But then emotionally, that hasn't been processed. And it's not some type of failure to not have processed emotions. That's usually the last thing you're processing. And by the time you become aware that the emotions have not progressed the way the logic and the intellectual portion of you has, you are now prepared to begin handling the tackling of the emotions. You have to develop one or the other first. How can you develop your emotional intelligence if you don't have the intellectual capacity to understand how you feel? Is that not why toddlers have tantrums? You're expecting them to process an emotion. They lack the life experience and intellectual development to understand. One of my kids had a hard time self-regulating. So whenever he would get tired as a toddler, he would become hyperactive, like literally running around, cannot stop, very, very loud. And like he would begin playing very rough with the toys. And, it's kind of like, oh, he's tired. And as a parent, instead of just like, hey, you're tired, come here, you need to go to bed. No, I would whisper for him to come to me. And children are nosy ass little people. So if they can't hear you, they're like, what did you say? And they'll come to you. I didn't have to raise my voice. So he would come to me and I would ask him for a hug and he would hug me because he loves cuddles. And so I would say, do you know how your body feels right now? Yeah, I can't stop moving. Whenever you feel that, that's your body telling you that you're tired. So what you need to do is pause. Lay down for a moment, sit down for a moment, close your eyes for a few minutes. Let your body tell you what it needs. Yeah, it took quite a few months. He's good at self-regulation now. He's very, very good at self-regulation. Very good. And all he needed was a little guidance, not screaming, not yelling. And let me tell you, most parents would be like, oh my God, knock it off. No, they're like, don't yell at him. He's struggling to self-regulate. He doesn't understand why his body feels the way it does. And so we helped him to understand. Now he'll be like, I'm tired, guys. I'm going to go to bed. Okay. Or he'll take a nap in the afternoon. If he feels like his body needs it, he'll take a nap in the afternoon. How many of us have learned to love ourselves in this way, where we can give ourselves the time and the space to develop the awareness, the intellect, okay, in order to be able to process the emotions. You have to make sure you love yourself unconditionally first before you start giving all this love away to other people. And I found over the years, oftentimes that whole martyrdom thing that I was doing to myself, no, it was not intentional emotional manipulation, but at the end of the day, whether it's intentional or not, emotional manipulation is emotional manipulation. And I was using other people to punish myself. Why? Because I carried a recording that told me that's the only way I could receive love. That is the only way. And that's not true. You guys show me this day in and day out. You know, the other day, for most of you, you were probably here and you saw it. And I just got so fucking mad at someone because this fucking cunt twaffle cunt cake bitch ass motherfucker. I'm so pissed. Oh my God. I'm still pissed. Not so much, but just remembering it triggered me a moment. It triggered me a moment. So part of the reason that I was pissed, because she was like, if you do this type of reading, then I can continue to follow you. And it's like, first off, I've never seen you comment. Second off, I don't see no anniversary badge. I don't see no like diamond or anything like that that identifies you as someone who has been supportive of me at any point. Bitch, get the fuck out of here. You want me to stop paying attention to my people, my community, so that what? So that you can be my follower? Fuck you. Fuck you. That shit offends me because guess what? All of these people show up day in and day out expecting nothing from me and having gratitude that I showed up. And for you to think that you could just disregard my people, you think I'm gonna kiss your ass? I don't fucking think so. I don't think so. I'm not gonna kiss your ass. I'm not gonna kiss your ass. Because guess what? My people are waiting for me, so you can just shut the fuck up. I don't give a fuck if you leave. I was so pissed. I felt like that person, even though they're on a completely different platform, was disrespecting my people. I was just like, mm-mm. 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 You know, like, nope, 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 nope. These are people who have supported me through some really difficult fucking periods in my life, and they don't ask me for shit. Hell no. If I'm going to give someone something, it's going to be my people first. Fuck that shit. I don't give a shit if I lose your user ass. I don't give a shit. I've lost enough user ass people. Why do you think I feel so light in life? I'm just saying. You know, yo, hell no, that's one of the ways to really, really trigger the shit out of me real fucking fast. Make me feel like you disrespect my people. I swear to God, you'll see the Durga come out. Fuck Bodhisattva. You see a full-on fucking Durga. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah, I was livid. Livid for quite a few hours. Like that bitch. Out of nowhere, I'd be like, I'm just like, not my people. You're not going to come here disrespecting my community. I don't think so. Communication. Allowing yourself to get this communication right back up, right side up. There's a lot of communication that needed to take place and it never took place because of the lack of patience. Maybe on your part, maybe on their part. I don't know. Maybe both of you, because you guys are mirrored souls. You guys are mirrors of each other. You know what I mean? And it's this thing of like, because you're mirrored souls, you are each other's teachers. Even in absence, you are teaching each other something. Okay? You are teaching each other something. And the emotions were upside down at some point, and they were upside down because of the fact that there was a lack of compassion for self. There was a lack of communication. Like, oh, Michaela. So, I was ignoring Marlene the whole reading. I was ignoring Marlene and Michael. Michael is giving me this thought of like, you know, maybe it's an example of potentially like having asked point blank, like wanting to know, you know, asking the question outright. And in asking that question and not getting an answer, you felt like you got your answer. But it wasn't even really an answer because it was like they were afraid. They were afraid of what to say. They were afraid that the truth would be used against them. Okay, I feel like I'm being put into a corner, is what it is. He goes, why aren't you using actual tangible, why aren't you using actual tangible types of examples for your analogy? And okay, so give me an example, Michaela. So say, for example, hypothetical. If you were to ask someone, so what exactly do I mean to you? And they're not able to answer you. And you needed that confirmation in that moment to decide, because the paths were splitting. That singular path was splitting, the divergence occurred. And you were standing there at the fork in the road and you're like, what am I to you? And they couldn't answer you and you're like, okay, well, then I guess I gotta go. Like that, you know? I mean, I don't know. That's a usable type of example, hypothetical example. So Durga's in the house. Hold on, guys. All right. Card number 11. Okay. She is fierce divine justice and unyielding resolution in favor of the light. She's every method and all means necessary to ensure success for the soul. She is the unexpected victory, arising at the very moment when all seems lost, transforming tragedy into triumph. She is our spiritual sun, our light, and our ever-radiant reminder that from darkest night, a new dawn shall arise always. Dare to trust more in your faith than your fear. For every problem that can arise, there are many more divine solutions unfolding even now. So solutions are being put into place, okay? Solutions that are necessary are coming into play right now. And we have to kind of just get out of the way. We have to get out of the way of the unfoldment. So card number 29, Devi Ma Kali, endlessly loving, infinitely forgiving. She will never turn away from you. No matter what you've done, no matter how many mistakes you've made, she's here for you always. Feel the safety and sanctuary of her divine hugs. She is your soft place to fall. And your kindest and most enthusiastic advocate. Let her shift your experience away from endless tasks and ever greater expectations into sweet relief and comforting connection. And that's why you're home. That's why you are home for the people you are home for, because that's you. That when the love there is real, when it's authentic, especially if it's soul-based, that never actually changes. That the human perception will go through the different phases of discovery and rediscovery and processing and interpretation. And it always comes back to the same thing, that that love exists and it never goes away. She'll always be able to forgive because there's nothing to forgive. Why do you need to forgive something that's merely a process of learning? A component of your learning is never a necessary thing to forgive. No. I feel like Michael's tricking me. Let me shuffle it a little bit more, okay? I'm going to shuffle it again. I feel like you're going to trick me into something. Because do you not trust me? Clearly I don't. He goes, are you going to ask me if I'm a demon again? No, but I'm going to burn you like you are. All right. Did you know Shiva had dreadlocks? But it wasn't called that. It was called Jata. Dreadlocks are beautiful. All right. Just a thought, random thought. I love dreadlocks. If my roots could handle it, I'd totally dreadlock my hair. Totally. But all my hair will fall out if I do that. No, my roots can't handle that. All right, card number 14, let love transform. The spring of love arrives to transform the dust into a garden. The call is heard from the heavens to bid the wings of soul to fly. The sea becomes filled with pearls. The dry land receives the water of life. The stone becomes a ruby and the body becomes all soul. Love is my medicine, intelligent medicine. It takes death and makes it a passageway into greater life. What genius is this? a genius that will render anything and everything as a pathway to life. I have found a bench upon which we may be seated, nay, not a bench, a love seat. It's carved of precious ruby. It sits under the gentle shade of an ancient tree that thrives in love's garden. Come sit with me, beloved, as we let the whispers of the great beloved penetrate our hallowed ears, carried upon the sweet afternoon breeze. As the sun begins to set, the colors become vibrant. Even if we are deaf to the beloved's tender whispers, we shall not be blind. We shall be captured by the vivid display of the beloved's artistry and be transported into peace. This oracle comes to you as a living spiritual gift. Whether you realize it or not, you have triumphed. You have blossomed, succeeded, cast aside that which was unworthy, and taken up love's way. How much delight there is from all those that walk this way of love, of life, to find another precious companion in their midst. You are welcomed into this world where love finds a way. There's nothing impossible for love. It's not bound by the mind, and because of this, all manner of miraculous grace works through it in endless creative variety. The great beloved is a show-off, creating with such genius as to be breathtaking. Were we able to remain always in the heart, we would be constantly breathless, in a fit of appreciation and awe so great, truly there would not even be a slither of emptiness through which fear could enter. And I mean, that's such an important thing, but, you know, fear can only exist where there is a deficit, where there is an emptiness, a void, a space not intentionally used, not divinely occupied. What does this mean? It means an avenue for divine fulfillment has been found. You're being given the power for spiritual success. Your heart's yearning shall manifest itself, but you must comply according to the law of love. What does that mean exactly? Do not attach yourself to the form that your resolution and success shall take. Why would we seek to limit love's creative genius? No, instead, trust that it will be magnificent, perfection, literally the work of great genius. Detach yourself from expectations of timing. The harvest will be at the best when the ripeness is just right, so utterly juicy and sweet. You shall know with certainty that this was the best way. Not a moment sooner would have been perfect, nor a moment later. Absolute trust is the best way to adhere to the law of love. This gives you rather some energy to spare, perhaps that might be otherwise been engaged in perpetuating worry or doubt. Well, I am so happy to see that you are twiddling your divine thumbs and wondering if you are not going to worry. If you're just going to surrender and trust, then what exactly will you do with yourself? Well, of course, you can just live your life, but perhaps you may want to dance barefoot and wild with me upon the cool sand at midnight under the fullness of the harvest moon. Ooh, I'm saying. Mm, 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 mm. Mm, mm, mm. To have this trust that you'll be dancing barefoot on the beach during the harvest moon. That's October time. Harvest moon is around October, if that serves me correctly. My memory serves me correctly. All the rivers and the streams eventually find their way back to the ocean. The shoreline being the place where that who is entrenched in an earthly existence can meet the depth of divinity of the one who is limitless. That's the middle ground. October. This period of growth will last until October. And things will happen quite a bit. Quite a bit of stuff will happen. And everything that happens will take you that much closer to the ocean. The place that you've been working so hard to reach. And here's the thing. Does the river need reassurance that once it reaches the ocean, that the ocean will receive that water? Does it need reassurance? Does it need the signs? Does it need constant reminding, like, don't worry, the ocean will accept you? Or does it just find itself being dumped into the bosom of the ocean, right? Because water is water is water. Water is water is water. And eventually the water that is fresh will find itself commingling with the salt of the ocean. And there's no harm there. There's no threat. There simply just is a coming together and becoming homogeneous, becoming one. It becomes one. What started as snow on a mountaintop ends up becoming filtered and running down, and eventually finding its way to the ocean. It doesn't matter where you're at in your journey at this point. We all find our way back home to the ocean. We all do. We all eventually find our way back home to the ocean and find ourselves in the ocean. At some point, you're going to be dancing on that beach. That can be figurative. It can be literal. We don't know, do we? It depends on what you make. Hold on. Michael says to all right. um, so Shiva's dreadlocks, his jata, represent the potent power of his mind that enables him to catch and bind the unruly. I love that. Shiva takes the weight of the mighty Ganges in his locks. Yeah, my roots can't take the weight. I know this because when my hair was a much it was a much coarser texture, I used to have really thick strands, each strand, and I put my hair in interlocks. That wasn't, the weight of it wasn't too bad, but the tightness of the cornrows yanked out my hairline. No, that was not cool. It didn't cause my hairline to recede because I only did that one time. I was like, no, I'm good after lots. Then I had my hair in micro braids, and those were singles, and each one was about each one was maybe about like this thick, each braid. And God, the tension of that pulled my hair out. So I'm not tender-headed. Like, you could tug my hair pretty. Disregard what I just said, but I'm not tender-headed. Even like if I have tangles, it doesn't hurt my hair to be all tangled up and stuff. It doesn't hurt my head. But my roots, no. No. And when people like do what you want with your hair, it's like you literally could if you want, but you got to be realistic about what your hair can handle. You got to be realistic. And then now my hair is super fine. And so, no, shit will snap off. I will lose all my hair if I do that. I can't do dreadlocks. I can't do the synthetic. I can't do anything that puts tension on my scalp, or it will just, no. My head was not made for that. It does try and do its own, like, dreadlock. See if you could see the back. Like, I just brushed it, but it does try to do its own dreadlocky type stuff. No. No. Not everyone's head can handle that. You can have an appreciation for the culture. You can, all of that, but you gotta be realistic. I'm not gonna tell you what to do, but and you gonna find out what your head can handle. Your daughter has, as if a cow licked her. There's stuff that you can put in her hair to make it detangle easier. And then there's also brushes that will help to detangle hair, because my hair, like this part of my head is straight. See, like it barely has any texture to it. It looks like Michael just dragged me like this. It looks like I was like little Shirley Temple, and then Michael dragged me like this. So this part just it doesn't do anything. But everything around that, like if I were to, hold on. If I were to sweat, all of this, if you can see, because it's kind of, I over conditioned it this morning. But if I were to sweat, I would have ringlets all around. And like, what the fuck is this? This is some bullshit hair. Like, do something. I talked to this part. And like when I brush this part, I'm like, you're just such a piece of shit area. No, I don't say that. But I used to get so frustrated because literally just this part doesn't do anything. It just sits there. Yeah, whatever. But everywhere else, like I don't use heat on my hair at all. Everywhere else, from here all the way, and the whole bottom half, it's curly. It's curly. It's yeah. My hair is like, we're kind of a little bit bipolar. We really don't know. Well, let's do both. That's what my soul said. God was like, child of mine, would you like curly? Would you like straight? Would you like wavy? And then my hair was like, can we do both? Like, no, bitch, you can do both. Pick one. And then again, depending on my hormones, my hair will either become like stick straight, and this is within weeks. Okay, like the other day, you saw my hair; it was like stick straight. I didn't straighten that. It was, my hair was just like, bitch, we gonna be straight today. And then there's times no, you won't see pictures of me because that's so old. I don't have those pictures anymore. My hair looked like I permed it, but I didn't perm it. It's just like a fairly tight curl all over. It was, my hair's stupid. Sometimes it's just, yeah, the filter in the shower can definitely help. Like water softener will help. Would you like curly, straight, wavy, your hair? Yeah. Like my preference, I like my hair. I do. I've learned to just kind of be okay with whatever it is. It really more depends on my mood. Well, the funny thing is I know how to style hair. I know how to cut hair. I know how to style hair. I just never do. I could do it for other people, but I don't want to do it for myself. It's just, what's the point? What's the point? I don't see the point. And I used to always style my hair, and then I had all these split ends, and I don't like that. that's my main thing is I don't like split ends. I don't like unhealthy hair. And so I'd rather have my hair look crazy and be healthy than look healthy and be split at the ends, right? And most of my life, my hair, like for a very large portion of my life, my hair was down to the back of my knees. Like I wasn't allowed to have short hair most of my life. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. All right, guys, I'm gonna get going. I was gonna say something. I don't know now. No, no. Marlene's like, may I say something? What do you want to say? Because I know you're gonna say something that's just gonna get me all caught up in. I don't know what you're trying to get me caught up in. I don't want to be caught up in anything. That's it. That's all you want to say. She says, I just want to say thank you. Okay. She just wanted to say thank you. She wants to say thank you to all of you as well, she says. She says thank you. Wow, your parents chopped your hair because they didn't want to deal with it. I just remember some of the things that my mom used to say to me to try and get me to take care of my hair as a child. Like, didn't matter to me. It didn't matter none to me. All right, so Marlene says, again, she's like, can I do a formal thank you? And I said, okay. I say, okay, I will repeat what you say. She says, thank you so much for allowing her to talk. And then she says, thank you for watching. She says, thank you for watching. You know who you are. Y'all can give this video a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it. If you haven't already subscribed, please do subscribe. Turn on that notification bell. Join me when I'm live. I'm going to get going. I have to start sessions. I hope you guys have an amazing, amazing rest of your day. I'm thinking of doing some readings and scans. Probably not today because Marlene ruined my mood. So can y'all tell that was a setup? I swear to God, I'm so I'd be so gullible sometimes. I already know. It's fine. It's all good. So thank you for watching. You know who you are. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. Me and my salt are going to go start sessions. I hope you guys have an amazing